Imagine, being able to spot a health problem, like even before you have symptoms.
Right.
That's what researchers are getting closer to doing with multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
MS, they're using MRI brain maps to see early warning signs. That's like
Wow.
having a crystal ball for your brain.
It really is remarkable. You see, MS is a disease where your immune system mistakenly attacks the myelin sheath,
Right.
which is the protective covering of nerve fibers in your brain and spinal cord.
Okay.
And this disrupts the flow of information and can lead to a wide range of
Oh,
symptoms.
wow.
But the real challenge is that the early stages of MS are often silent.
So you might not even know anything is wrong until the damage is already done.
Exactly. By the time traditional diagnostic methods catch it,
Yeah.
it might be too late for the most effective interventions.
That's terrifying.
That's why this new research is so exciting. It's like we're finally getting a glimpse into the very beginning of the disease process.
And this glimpse comes from a fascinating study out of the NIH.
Uh-huh.
They used marmosets. Okay.
Small monkeys to create a 4D brain map,
Wow.
almost like a time-lapse video of how MS-like lesions form.
Oh, cool.
This is where it gets really interesting because they chose marmosets for a specific reason.
Yes, and that reason is crucial. Marmoset brains are much more similar to human brains than the mice brains typically used in research,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to the ratio of white matter to gray matter.
Hold on, back up a second. Remind me what white matter is again.
Yeah, white matter is essentially the communication network of the brain,
Okay,
the superhighway of signals,
got it.
and it's the primary target of MS.
Okay.
Mice brains have a different composition,
Huh.
so they don't accurately reflect what happens in the human brain during the early stages of MS.
So by using marmosets, researchers are getting a much clearer, more accurate picture of what might be happening in a human brain. They're like a
Right.
stand-in for us.
Precisely. And this opens up a whole new world of possibilities for understanding and treating MS.
And speaking of possibilities, this study uncovered something truly groundbreaking.
Oh,
They discovered a new MRI signature,
okay.
like a red flag that highlights brain areas at risk weeks before visible lesions appear.
It's like an early warning system.
Yeah,
By analyzing specific patterns in MRI scans,
right.
we can potentially pinpoint areas of the brain vulnerable to MS damage
Yeah.
even before any physical signs show up on a standard MRI.
It's like predicting the future of the disease.
It is.
What kind of impact could that have for people with MS?
Well, early detection is key in managing MS.
Yeah.
The earlier we can intervene, the better the chances of slowing down or even halting disease progression.
Right.
This discovery could be a game changer for treatment strategies.
Okay, so we've got this amazing new tool for early detection.
Uh-huh.
But the study also delves into the cellular level, looking at what's happening within these lesions.
Yes.
That's where these intriguing cells called astrocytes come in.
Ah, yes, astrocytes. They are the most abundant cell type in the central nervous system and play a crucial role in supporting neurons and maintaining brain health.
Think of them as the caretakers, the guardians of the brain.
Okay, so how do these caretakers get involved in MS?
Well, the researchers focused on a specific type of astrocyte that expresses a gene called SERPINE1.
Okay.
They found these SERPINE1 astrocytes clustering near blood vessels and ventricles in the brain.
And those are important areas because
They're particularly vulnerable to MS damage.
Yeah.
Imagine your brain as a vast network of roads, and these SERPINE1 astrocytes are strategically positioned at critical intersections, almost like traffic controllers.
So they're in the right place to do a lot of good,
Yeah,
but also potentially a lot of harm.
exactly. That's what makes them so fascinating. They have a dual role.
Hmm.
They can influence immune cell activity,
Okay.
potentially contributing to inflammation and damage,
Hmm.
but they also seem to be involved in myelin repair.
Wait, so these SERPINE1 astrocytes are like double agents.
Yeah.
They could be helping or hurting depending on the situation.
That's a great way to put it. And understanding their role in MS could be the key to unlocking new treatment strategies that target these specific cells.
So these SERPINE1 astrocytes are positioned at these critical junctions in the brain, acting like traffic controllers.
Right.
But how do scientists figure out what they're doing? How do they know if they're directing traffic properly or causing a pileup?
That's where things get really interesting. The researchers used a cutting-edge technique called spatial transcriptomics.
Okay.
Imagine being able to zoom in on a specific area of the brain and see which genes are being turned on or off.
Wow.
That's essentially what spatial transcriptomics allows them to do.
So they're creating a detailed map of gene activity within these lesions?
Yeah.
What did they find?
They discovered a whole cascade of changes happening as these lesions develop. It's like a domino effect.
Okay.
The initial inflammation triggers changes in gene expression, which then influences the behavior of various cells in the brain.
So it's not just the astrocytes involved here.
Right, it's a complex interplay of different cell types, all responding to the initial injury.
Hmm.
You've got microglia, which are the brain's immune cells rushing to the scene. And then there are oligodendrocytes, the cells responsible for producing myelin, trying to repair the damage.
So it's like a chaotic construction site with everyone trying to fix the problem.
It's a very dynamic process.
Yeah.
And spatial transcriptomics allow the researchers to see it unfold in real time at the molecular level.
Uh-huh.
They identified distinct patterns of gene activity within these lesions,
Okay.
giving them insights into the different stages of lesion development and repair.
That's amazing. They're essentially watching a movie of the disease process,
Right.
but at a microscopic level.
Yes.
And you said they were able to link these changes back to those MRI signatures we talked about earlier.
Exactly. The MRI provides a macroscopic view, the big picture,
Yeah.
while the gene expression analysis offers a microscopic view zooming in on the cellular level.
Okay.
By combining these two perspectives, they get a much more complete understanding of the disease process.
This is all so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
What does it mean for treatment? Does this research point to any potential therapies?
Absolutely. The study identified several potential therapeutic targets,
Okay.
particularly those involved in modulating the activity of those SERPION1 astrocytes.
So if we can figure out how to control those traffic controllers,
Yeah,
we might be able to prevent or even reverse the damage caused by MS.
that's the hope. If we can encourage those SERPION1 astrocytes to focus on repair rather than inflammation,
Uh-huh.
we might be able to significantly impact the course of the disease.
Now, this whole idea of cellular repair and regeneration, it feels like we're stepping into the realm of science fiction.
It's certainly cutting-edge science,
Yeah.
but it's becoming more and more attainable.
Right?
And what's even more fascinating is that this research might have implications beyond MS.
Really? You mean these findings could help people with other neurological conditions as well?
That's right. Remember how we talked about those molecular changes happening within the lesions?
Yeah.
Well, many of those same changes are also present in other types of brain injuries,
Wow.
like stroke or traumatic brain injury.
Right. So it's like a common language of brain damage regardless of the cause.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And by understanding this language, by deciphering these molecular signals,
Right.
we might be able to develop therapies that target these common pathways of damage and repair,
Yeah.
regardless of the specific disease.
That would be incredible. To think that insights from MS research could potentially help people with a wide range of brain injuries.
That's the beauty of scientific discovery.
Uh-huh.
It often has ripple effects far beyond the initial focus of the research.
Wow.
And this particular study has opened up a whole new world of possibilities for understanding and treating brain injuries.
It's amazing to think that this research on MS could pave the way for treating all sorts of brain injuries.
Yeah,
It feels like we're on the verge of a whole new era of brain health.
it really does feel that way.
Right.
This study has opened a window into the intricate workings of the brain,
Right.
revealing mechanisms of damage and repair that we never fully understood before.
And you said earlier that this research could also impact prevention?
Yeah.
How-
Well, imagine if we could identify individuals at risk for MS or other brain injuries before any symptoms even appear.
Like having that crystal ball we talked about.
Exactly.
But for prevention.
With early detection, we could potentially implement lifestyle interventions or preventative measures to reduce their risk. We could help people protect their brains before any damage occurs.
So it's about empowering people to take control of their brain health.
Absolutely. It's about shifting from a reactive approach to a proactive one,
Yeah.
from waiting for problems to arise to actively safeguarding our brains.
This is all incredibly exciting, but I imagine there's still a lot of work to be done before these preventative measures become a reality.
Of course, scientific discovery is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
We still need to answer many questions.
Mm.
For example, we need to understand the specific roles of different cell types in brain injury and repair.
Okay, so we need to figure out who's doing what on that cellular construction site.
Exactly. We also need to develop better ways to deliver therapies to the brain, to make sure those treatments are reaching the right cells at the right time. And of course, continued research funding is crucial to fuel further discoveries.
It sounds like there's a whole universe of possibilities waiting to be explored.
There is.
Uh-huh.
And that's what makes this field so fascinating. Every new discovery opens up a dozen more questions, leading us further into the path of understanding.
So what does all this mean for someone listening to this deep dive right now? What's the takeaway message?
I think the most important message is one of hope. We are living in a time of unprecedented scientific advancement.
Right.
We're on the cusp of major breakthroughs in understanding the brain and developing new treatments for neurological disorders. The research we discussed today is just one example of the incredible progress being made.
It really is inspiring. It makes you realize that the brain, even with all its complexity, is not an uncrackable code.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to understanding its secrets every day.
And that understanding will lead to new treatments, new preventative measures, and ultimately a better quality of life for people facing neurological challenges.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the future of brain health.
I am too. And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to explore further. There's a wealth of information out there, and who knows, you might even be inspired to contribute to this exciting field.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of MS research. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned something new about the amazing capabilities of the human brain.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.